All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Stakes, Sharp and Shapiro. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we will be joined by Seth Moulton, the former Democratic presidential candidate. Just took his name out of the hat. The president of the United States going after him on social media. We'll explain. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Seth will be joining us here in just a few minutes. I have never been an April Ryan fan. If you don't know who April Ryan is, she is a CNN political analyst who I think has a tremendous ego and asks a lot of stupid questions, all of them pretty much involving race when it comes to the president of the United States. And I think there's a double standard with her, and let me explain why. First of all, she talks about how everyone should be open. Everyone should be allowed to record anybody, right? She said that. She said, we need to get the story. Well, guess what? She did this private event in New Jersey where she's making a speech. This gentleman went in there and recorded it. Not only did a security guard escort this guy out, because April Ryan says you're not allowed to record my speeches in private situations unless you get approved and get the okay, but he was roughed up by the security guard. He was physically assaulted. His camera was damaged. I believe it was stolen. Her bodyguard has since been fired. And it took April Ryan over 2 weeks to comment on it because she claimed she was in fear of a lawsuit. Okay, April Ryan wants to make it about her in these press conferences. And I am, for the first time in my life, going to defend Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Okay? When April Ryan makes it about her, and what I mean by that is when you ask a question like, Sarah, is the president going to step down? Sarah, what do you guys make of all these racially charged comments? Is the president going to step down? She makes it about her. It's just like when Sarah Sanders leaves the stage, and then you'll hear April Ryan scream out a question, like she's going to turn back around and answer it. No, she's making it about her. And now the double standard. She wants all this open transparency with the administration, which, by the way, I agree with her there. There should be open transparency. But how can you ask for that if you're not transparent in your own life? April Ryan is not transparent in her own life. Now, she did the first interview talking about this yesterday on CNN. Of course, she did it on CNN because it's an easy interview. Although I do like Stelter. I think he does a pretty good job. So he asked her, why is it wrong with having your speech videotaped? Ryan responds, well, this was a private event. So what if it's a private event? People should be allowed to record you, whether it's a private event or not. She also goes on to say it was for a nonprofit organization, completely academic. I don't care where you're making a speech. People should be allowed to record it on their phones. She also said our contract stated that if someone wanted to come and film or if they wanted to interview me, they had to ask for permission. This photographer claims he did have permission. He didn't just show up. So somebody is lying here. Either April Ryan is lying or this photographer is lying. She also went on to say there was no request for permission and permission was not granted. I don't know if she's telling the truth there. She said, now, if they would have asked for permission, it would have been granted. And the reason why I do this, it's standard in the industry. No, it's not standard in the industry. Okay, I've been a reporter for 10 years. I've been in the media for 20 years. You don't always have to ask for permission to record something if you're a member of the media or not. You could have been somebody in that crowd, maybe a donor or maybe whatever the case may be. You could have put your phone up in the air and started recording. It would have been fine. You don't have to have pre-authorization to do so. So April Ryan is not being intellectually honest. She says, also, I don't want my words twisted. Do you know how many times in the media people twist words? And I'm not just talking about the president. I'm talking about in general. The media twist words all the time, and April Ryan wants to make herself out to be the victim. April Ryan is not a victim. There is a reason why I haven't liked her since day one. It's because she makes it about herself. The only questions she asks are about race. She claims, well, I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing my job. If you see her in these interviews on CNN, she talks over people that disagree with her all the time. She doesn't call them morons like me, so I'll give her credit for that. But she talks over people all the time. JD, what do you think about this story? Am I off base here? I think she has zero credibility, in my opinion. I don't care if she's been a White House journalist for 30 years, 40 years. What is she good at? Is she a great journalist? I don't think she's good. I think she has stupid questions at those White House press scrums. What do you make of this? Hello?
That right there. That's what I make of it.
Okay.
No, this is the day and age where the Kardashians, who are good at nothing, are very, very popular. People like April Ryan, people who just are very, very outspoken and say stupid things and do stupid things are getting attention on a national level right now because of social media. And I don't think that 20 years ago, April Ryan right now would have any shot of being where she's at.
I think she showed that she is a coward and there is a double standard. I think she has proven that she's not good at what she does. And you want to talk about transparency, she has been the first person to talk about transparency with the Donald Trump White House. First of all, when we talk about words twisted, you can't stop people from twisting words, but if there's video evidence and audio evidence, you could sue somebody if they twist your words around. So it's nonsense. Her explanation is complete nonsense. There are journalists out there, and then there are opinion journalists. There should be no such thing as an opinion journalist. If you are a journalist and you are at that White House press briefing, it is your job to ask difficult questions. It is your job to report on the answers that are given. If they are true or false, it is your job to honestly report on it. Clearly, April Ryan is biased. Now, I wouldn't say that about many members of the media that are in there. Even Jim Acosta. People want to go after Jim Acosta. I do think Jim Acosta asked very good questions. I think his biggest mistake is when he tried to get into that debate with the president, with the woman came over and tried to take his microphone away. I think his issue there was your job as a member of the media is to ask questions, not to get into a debate and disagree with the president. That is where I think Jim Acosta made a mistake. But I think April Ryan does that sort of thing all the time. Jim Acosta has made some mistakes, but I do think Jim Acosta is a good journalist. I like Jim Acosta. But April Ryan, to me, in my personal opinion, after this whole situation went down, she waits 2 weeks to talk about it. And then what is the first interview she does? CNN. You want to talk about transparency? Who cares if it was a private event? You are a member of the media. And by the way, I'm sure she's getting paid boatloads of money to make her stupid speech. What is she even talking about? Again, this is somebody on CNN that I don't think should be there because I think she has zero credibility. Doesn't mean, it doesn't mean that, she shouldn't be allowed to work. But I mean, I just don't think she has any credibility. I think she makes CNN look really bad. Her bodyguard is Joe Morris. As I mentioned, he has since been fired. He physically removed this photog. This happened at the New Jersey Parent Summit, whatever that is. I guess it has something to do with parents. I don't know. At the Heldrick Hotel. And when April Ryan was asked, did you ask to have this guy escorted out? She said no. However, moments before this photographer was escorted out, you see the security guard go up to April Ryan and said something to her, and she kind of nods her head. So I think April Ryan is a liar. I don't think she's being honest. I think she's lying. And I think her credibility is completely tarnished. But I've said on this show from the beginning, I never liked April Ryan. Because when the only questions you ask have to do with race, race is certainly a big issue, but when that's the only thing that you talk about, and then you ask questions like, do you think the president should step down? And then when she's criticized for asking questions like that, her response is, I'm just doing my job. So when you walk into the White House press conference, and you've had weeks, in some cases with the Trump administration, months, because they don't do a lot of press conferences these days, and that is the best question you could come up with, I'm sorry, you're not good at your job. You can be harsh. You can ask difficult questions. That's the job, the responsibility of a reporter, in my opinion. Ask the tough questions. That's what you're supposed to do. But make no mistake about it. When somebody like April Ryan, it gives the media a bad name, talks about it, well, should the president step down? Is the president a racist? What kind of answer do you think you're going to get from the White House? Yes? Yes, I think the president is a racist. Yes, I think the president is seriously considering stepping down. How dumb do you have to be as a reporter? You ask a difficult question that you think the press, the White House has a difficult time answering. You don't ask a question like that. I mean, really, why do people respect April Ryan so much? I don't know. I think her race and her gender should have absolutely nothing to do with it. It should be about, is she good at her job? I would say absolutely not. There are plenty of female reporters and African-American reporters that are in those press scrums that I think do a fantastic job. Make no mistake about it, April Ryan is not one of them. And by the way, I hope she gets sued. I really do, because part of it is her responsibility. If you hire a bodyguard who roughs up a reporter for really no legitimate reason, April Ryan, make no mistake about it, she is responsible, partially. And I hope I hope this reporter gets money. because quite frankly, he deserves it. He was doing nothing wrong. All he was doing was recording the speech. That's all he was doing. They took his camera away. He got physically assaulted, and you got idiots who put this thing on. One lady comes out and says, "You were ruining it. You ruined this thing. Who are you?" No, he wasn't ruining anything. He was just recording it. April Ryan is a fool. She is a buffoon. She is a fool. Make no mistake about it, and she should absolutely not be working for CNN. We'll take a quick break. Seth Moulton will be joining us next. We'll react to the president's comments coming up next. You're listening to The Vegas Take.